In the previous video, we talked about the development and destruction of the Mu continent. In this video, I want to talk about what happened afterward. First, I must speak to you of Egypt and Israel, as well as of Atlantis, the famous continent so often talked of on Earth, and the subject of so much controversy. Atlantis, like the continent of Mu, did exist and was situated in the northern hemisphere, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was attached to Europe and linked to America by an isthmus, and to Africa by another isthmus at about the latitude of the Canary Islands. Its area was slightly greater than that of Australia. It was inhabited by the people of Mu, approximately 30,000 years ago. In fact, it was a colony of Mu. There was also a white race there, tall blonde people with blue eyes. It was the Mayas, very learned colonizers from Mu, who governed the country, and they constructed there a replica of the Pyramid of Savanassa. 17,000 years ago, they explored the Mediterranean thoroughly, going via the north of Africa, where they acquainted the Arabs, descendants of the crossbreeding between yellow and black Baccaratinians, with much new knowledge, material as well as spiritual. The numerical script, for example, still used by the Arabs, came from Atlantis, and from Mu, of course. They went to Greece, where they founded a small colony, and the Greek alphabet corresponds almost exactly to that of Mu. Finally, they arrived in a land that the natives called Aranka, and which you know as Egypt. There, they established a strong colony, with a great man by the name of Thoth at its head. Laws were established which embodied the beliefs of Mu and the organizational principles of Atlantis. Improved plants, new techniques for raising cattle, new methods of cultivation, pottery and weaving were all introduced. Thoth was a great man of Atlantis, extremely knowledgeable materially as well as spiritually. He founded villages, built temples, and just before his death, he had constructed what you now call the Great Pyramid. Each time these great colonizers judged that the new colony had the potential to become great, materially and spiritually, they would construct a special pyramid, a tool. In Egypt, they constructed the Great Pyramid on the same model as the Pyramid of Savanassa, but on a scale 3 times reduced. These pyramids are unique, and, in order to fulfill their role as a tool, their dimensions and specifications must be precisely adhered to, as well as their orientation. And how much time it took? It was quite fast. Just 9 years, for Thoth and his master architects knew the secrets of anti-gravitation from Mu, and the secrets for cutting the rock and using, let's call them, electro-ultrasounds. But now, on Earth, the experts believe it to have been constructed by the pharaoh Cheops. It's not so. Of course, this is not the only mistake that the experts on Earth have made. On the other hand, I can confirm that the pharaoh Cheops used this pyramid as it was meant to be used. The Maya Atlanteans were not the only ones to explore and colonize. Gone for thousands of years, the Nagas had colonized Burma, India, and finally they reached the shores of Egypt, at about the latitude of the Tropic of Cancer. They, too, founded a successful colony and occupied Upper Egypt. Both groups of colonizers introduced similar sorts of improvements. The Nagas established a large town called Mayu, on the banks of the Red Sea. The natives of the region went to their schools, gradually becoming assimilated with the colonists and producing the Egyptian race. However, about 5,000 years ago, the Nagas in the north of Egypt and the Maya Atlanteans began fighting for a reason that is quite ludicrous. The Atlanteans, whose religion differed significantly from the religion of Mu, believed in the reincarnation of the soul, astral body, in the country of its ancestors. Thus, they claimed that the soul traveled westward to where they had come from. The Nagas held a similar belief except that they claimed the soul went back to the east, since they had come from the east. For 2 years they were actually at war over this difference, but it was not a terribly cruel war, as both groups comprised of fundamentally peace-loving people, and eventually they became allied and formed a unified Egypt. The first king of United Egypt, both Upper and Lower, was called Mena. It was he who established the town of Memphis. He was elected by the same method used in Mu, a method that did not long survive in Egypt due to the rise of a powerful clergy, which little by little put the pharaohs under its thumb. This situation continued over the years, with notable exceptions among the pharaohs who yielded to the clergy. One such exception was the pharaoh Akhenaten, who was poisoned by the priests. Before dying, he made the following statement: "The time that I have spent on this earth was an era in which the simplicity of truth was not understood and was rejected by many." As often happens in religious sects, the Egyptian priests distorted the truth, simple though it was, in order to have a better hold over the people. They had them believing in the devil and in various divine beings as well as other such nonsense. It must also be said that prior to the war and the subsequent peace pact, which saw Mena installed as king of Egypt, the population, made up of Maya Atlanteans and Nagas in equal proportions, had established a sophisticated civilization in both Upper and Lower Egypt. The country was prosperous. Farming and grazing flourished, and the time of the first king of Egypt, Mena, was almost the culmination of this rising civilization.